Hello. Are you looking to automate IP administration or other DNS-related tasks? In this video, we'll take a look at a lab environment you can use to learn how the Red Hat Ansible Automation Platform and Infoblox NIOS come together to do just that. First, I will walk you through an initial login to NIOS. We'll then log into Tower and go over how the lab environment is laid out. Finally, we'll take a look at VS Code and use it to update a network assignment project within Tower. Let's log in to NIOS. The username is admin and the password will be provided to you. Once logged in, you can accept the EULA. You can opt out of the Customer Experience Program. Once the UI loads, you will be presented with a grid setup wizard. We are going to close this as it's not necessary for our lab. Next, let's log into Ansible Tower. Under credential types, we have a new custom credential called NIOS Custom Credentials. This will allow us to pass NIOS grid username and password as extra vars into our playbooks. There's also a new credential called NIOS Creds, and this uses our custom credential to pass admin and our password into our playbooks. In inventories, we have an NIOS inventory that has several extra vars already populated for you. The API version, our Ansible Python interpreter, and our grid URL and private IP. These will be explained further in the next section. Next, let's take a look at VS Code. Once logged in, let's make sure we're in the Home DevOps user folder. Open folder, Home DevOps. Then we can open up a new terminal. From here, I'm going to use git clone to clone in an existing GitHub repo. Here's my repo. Now, I can open and edit my playbooks directly in VS Code. Let's take a look at our playbook. You can see I have hosts, localhost, and connection local defined. This is because Ansible communicates with NIOS over an API. And because I am using the infoblox.nios_modules collection, I like to call that out here. Below that, I have several variables defined with default values. I can override these later in Tower. But for now, take a look at NIOS_provider. Here's where I can pass in my NIOS grid URL, username, and password from Tower so Ansible can authenticate to NIOS. In order for Ansible to communicate with NIOS, it needs the Infoblox-client Python library installed. This has been done for you on the Bastion and Tower in a virtual environment. We'll have Ansible create a new network container for us so we can test this out. First, let's run our playbook without the virtual environment. You can see here it fails because we don't have the Infoblox-client library installed. Next, let's go into our virtual environment and run our playbook again. You can see now that Ansible has created the network container for us. Back in Tower, let's put all the pieces together and create a new project. We can name it Infoblox NIOS. For SCM type, we'll choose Git. And then I'll take my GitHub project and put it in here for the URL. For my default environment, I want to pick my Python virtual environment. I don't need any credentials. We'll hit save. And then we should see it update here. Once that's done, let's go to templates and create a new job template. We're going to add a new network. And for our inventory, we'll pick NIOS. For our project, we'll pick our Infoblox project. For credentials, we need to pick our NIOS custom credential and then our NIOS creds. Once we have that, we can choose the NIOS add IPv4 network playbook and hit save. Now we can launch our project. This should only take a few seconds to run. First, it'll go out to NIOS and ask for the next available network. Then it'll create that object and assign it to a grid member. It'll create a DHCP range. Then it'll update the new network with some metadata, North America, country, USA, and then it'll restart the DHCP service. You can see here in the return next available network, how I found our next available network was 10.0.0.0/24. Let's log back into NIOS and check our work. Once logged in, go to the Data Management tab. Make sure you're on IPAM, and then you should see two containers. 10/8 is created during lab deployment, and 12.0/23 was created by our previous Ansible playbook. Let's go look at 10/8. You'll see a new network in here, 10/24. This was created by our playbook in Tower. We can edit this and verify our extensible attributes are correct. There they are. We can also go look at the DHCP view and see that our playbook did in fact create a DHCP scope for us. This demo environment is a sandbox, ready for you to create your own projects. Tower and the NIOS server are fully accessible over the internet, which allows you to seamlessly incorporate NIOS into existing internet accessible labs or demo projects. It is also a great tool to learn about Infoblox NIOS and how to automate IP administration. If you would like to learn more about the integrations of Ansible and Infoblox, check out our integrations page. The playbooks used in this demo are accessible on my GitHub repo. Happy automating!